we were afraid we couldn't do it. Okay. Hi, Intuitive viewers. This is Kim and Cassie. This is Cassie.
Hi.
You always hear her voice.
I'm always behind the camera.
And this is Chris. She's our tarot. Hello. Tarot reader. And we're live on the phone too. Okay. All right. So we thought we'd start with just a couple of things, a couple of political things, and then we're going to get to the questions. There's a lot of them. While I'm doing that, if you have a specific question that you've written about a loved one, if you could leave just a first name, that would be great. That helps us a lot. So if you could do that, that would be fabulous while I'm telling you what I'm going to tell you.
Oh, and Lucy's here too. And Lucy's right here in the corner.
The real star. Lucy. So, okay, so I had a dream about 4 or 5 nights ago. I had a dream about Jared Kushner. And Cassie and I did a video. We were going to put it up, but she had a friend stay over, so we didn't get to it. But basically, it was this. I saw Jared Kushner getting arrested in an airport. And it was a very weird dream because it was so real that when I woke up, I started checking my news feed because I thought it had happened. I thought that maybe I was listening to the radio in my dream or something. So I saw him, and basically the dream was this. He puts his stuff down at security in an airport, and he is swarmed by cops and guys in suits, and they just take him and take his stuff and haul him off. That was it. That was the whole dream. So
could you tell if it was an American airport?
I think it was. I think it was a U.S. airport, and yeah. So that's what I saw. So I just want to put that out there. The other thing I was going to tell you is that Cassie, in the video, we'll still put the video up, but I just wanted to let you know that we did Trump's November. And as you know, if you watch the channel, I get a lot of movie and television references. And so it was for Trump's November. And it was the scene in the first Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's like they go in a boat and they go through the tunnel, and there's all these kind of nightmarish images on the side.
It's a terrible scene.
And it is a terrible scene. But he was a passenger in that boat. And so I took that to mean that he's going to have a nightmarish. It's going to be something that he's had nightmares about in November, that it's going to be a very difficult month for him. And I even thought I might go back and look at the words because Willy Wonka does this creepy song as they're going through, and I'm sure that has some kind of significance as well. But yeah, so that's what I saw. So I do not think it's going to be a very nice month for him. In fact, I think it's going to be pretty, I think he's going to have a really hard time legally, emotionally, kind of everything. I just feel like it's going to be really rough. It's going to be rough on us for sure. But I feel like it's going to be a tough month for him. The toughest so far, which is saying a lot because he's had a lot of really icky, And this week has been particularly awful, so I'm glad we're doing this. It's just been a depressing week with the murder of the Saudi American resident journalist, and it's just been yuck. It's just been a hard week. So let's get started. We have a lot of personal questions, which is fine. We're going to kind of pass them around to see who either gets something, because sometimes I'll just start seeing stuff, so I'll just say it. And Chris and Cassie, if she channels, so she gets anything, she can start. And then Chris has the card. She's good with like career stuff. I mean, I'm not as good on that. I don't think I am anyway. I could try, but okay. So
basic life stuff.
Basic life stuff. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. Stacy J asks.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. What can I expect? What can I expect in a career change? I guess if you're looking for a career change, or maybe a career change. So yeah, just what can you expect in a career change? So Kristin's going to do that one. And while she's doing that, I'm going to close my eyes. Something that you don't see on my channel, because Cassie edited it so well, is that sometimes I will sit there for the longest time. So I'll try, and if I get something quickly, I don't want to sit here the whole time and waste time while we need to get people's questions. So, yeah. So, can you ask me that question, Cassie? Yeah.
So Stacy J asks, what can I expect for a career change?
I am already seeing something that's outdoors. It's not indoors. So I'm not sure what you do, Stacy, but I'm seeing something that's outside. So go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so I've decided for doing this, I pull 3 cards max. Often when I do personal readings, it's a lot more cards, but I've got 3 here for Stacy. The first is this 7 of Swords, and the 7 of Swords is often about deceit. It can be about self-deceit. It can be about lying in the workplace. I feel like this has something to do with your current job or workplace or career path that you don't like about it. There's something that you don't feel is right about it. Something sort of, it doesn't sit well with you. But what the good news is, and so I think that's maybe pushing you a little bit and something that will push you further. But the good news is that you get this Ace of Cups. The Cups cards are all about emotion and love and, good feeling. And these Ace cards are always about, they're always like a gift to you. So I feel like what this is speaking to is there's something that you love, doing what you love, and you have really hesitated to take that leap of faith and do what you really love. And so this is like a gift to you, almost, well, it's encouraging you to take the leap of faith, but with a promise that, that's what you need to do. You need to do what brings you joy in your life. And finally, you get this Hierophant card. And this is a major arcana card. So that means it's sort of a big umbrella picture for your life and this question. And the Hierophant is all about, it's sometimes called the Pope card. So it does have to do a lot of times with religion, or, religions, or those kind of monolithic things in society. But I feel like this has to do with your own spirituality. This is something that the career path that you want to take, that you should take, and that you're being encouraged to take, is one that's not only close to your heart, that speaks to you, your passion, let's say, but it also brings this element of spirituality into your life. You view it as either it's specifically spiritual, or you view it as because it's such a deep part of you that it feels spiritual to you. So all of that is being really encouraged by your guides and spirits, those who sort of look out for you in your life. It's almost a feeling of waiting for you to do it. Like, come on, go ahead. So yes, career change, yes, it's definitely the best thing for you. You definitely need to leave some of this stuff behind for whatever you're doing now and get away from it. It's not good for you. It's not good for your soul. And then move into something that brings you this such a deep sense of joy and happiness that it feels spiritual, although it may literally be spiritual as well.
Okay. And I just also want to say that Kristin can do private readings. I don't do them right now. I'll explain another time, but I don't do them right now. Cassie doesn't really, but Kristin does. So if you're interested, where do you?
It's Beacon Tarot, BEACON Tarot @gmail.com.
And we'll put it up on the site.
Yeah.
So you guys can find it. Okay.
Definitely.
So, okay.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Okay. Trish6704. Why is it so difficult for me to get along with my 2 daughters, Tracy and Samantha? And yeah, Trish, you're not the only person that doesn't get along with their daughters. That's weird. Because we don't get along with them. Wow. But no. So, okay, so I'm gonna think about it. Kristen's gonna do cards.
Okay, so, and this is Trish.
Trish, yes, and her Trish, her daughter's names are Tracy and Samantha.
Tracy and Samantha. Okay.
Okay, so Trish, I don't know if Kristin will pull it, but I already see the card, which is the Three of Cups. To me, that could mean a some kind of past life, kind of karmic thing that's happening. So I always think of that as a reunion card, but I also kind of think of it as kind of a past lifey thing, and the three women. So I'm thinking there's something about that there. Also, there's one daughter that you share a trait that is like you both like to get the last word, or you both, something like that. You guys both have a trait that makes it difficult to make up at the end of something that, an argument or something. You both kind of have that trait. I'm not sure what that is, but it's like something like that where you both kind of can't let it go. So it's one of the daughters. So anyway, I'll turn it over to Chris. That's what I get.
Well,
sorry.
Before I just want to say before Sissy for Kristin gets into that, I did see like twins for some reason. I don't know if there's something very similar about the two sisters in personality, and I'm not sure if or they actually do look similar, or you're similar in some way, but for some reason I kept seeing the two daughters as looking like twins. So I don't know, that might have something.
Okay.
But anyway.
All right. Well, the first card I got is a card you might expect to get. It's this Five of Wands. And this Five of Wands, I probably can't see it, but it's got this sort of fighting looking guys. But here's the good news. This isn't a real fight. This is more like bickering. And it's constant. It kind of feels constant. It's like you come into the room and everything's fine, and then something happens and it's like we're back to this back and forth again. But that's all it is. Understand that it's just bickering. It's not a horrible sort of intractable fight. I mean, this is something that you can overcome, definitely. And some of it will come with just the changes that life brings, I want to say like maturity, but, just some, a better sort of a balance of empathy that will naturally come with aging. But along with that, so that's kind of the good news. It really is just bickering. It's not like a deep down hatred or something like that. But then you also get this Wheel of Fortune card, which is a major arcana card. It's an excellent card. And what this is all about is sort of the ups and downs of life. And that goes with what I was just saying. This is just, cyclical. This is kind of how things go. So if you're asking, like, will you get along with them better? Definitely. Sometimes. And then sometimes, it'll, depending on what's going on in your life, it might go back. But again, going back to the first card, it's not something that's a deeply seated, it's definitely not hatred, but it's not even a really deep problem. It's just these little bickering things and things that everybody sort of needs to calm down and just be like, that. It's not that big of a deal, and that may have to come from you and then eventually from the daughters. But you do get this Knight of Swords card. So the Knight of Swords is this great card of action and things happening and things changing positively. It can often represent a person. I feel like in this case, it could represent, my first thought is this is one of the daughter's spouses or boyfriends, a new one or somebody coming into the picture that's like that. I don't know your situation, but it does feel more like the daughter's, but it feels like this guy that comes in gives so much more balance he's like a low key and kind of like, give your mom a break, that kind of thing. Just a very positive influence when it comes to the relationship overall. So you can look for him, and hopefully, or it could also be somebody that's already there, sort of stepping up, or almost being asked to step up and sort of fill that role in, to just be, like I said, everybody needs to just sort of, not take everything quite so personally. And it will happen. It does happen. But there'll always be times that, people get upset every once in a while. So you can just expect that. But overall, it's not like you have to worry about them not loving you or losing their love. That's not going to happen. This is just bickery stuff, so don't let it get any bigger.
Okay. And I would love to do the past life cards for that one, because I think there's something going on there. But somebody wrote to just do one card, Chris. It's too long.
Sorry. It's fine. I get that. And the honest thing is that I usually do many more cards. So 3 is very short.
Yeah.
But I can, I don't know, one card we can try.
Yeah, her readings are great. So, but they're just detailed.
They're very detailed, yeah.
So Michelle Sanchez, will my children take care of me when I am frail? It seems that they are very busy all the time. Okay. So Michelle Sanchez, did you hear that question?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you doing this one as well?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. If you want to start, go ahead.
So, well,
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the first thing I heard in my mind's ear was that they're gonna step up to the plate. That they're gonna step up to the plate when the time comes. That it may not seem like it right now, but they're gonna step up to the plate. So that's what I heard. I mean, that was kind of the thing that first came to my mind.
So I pulled a couple cards, and I'm not going to explain them. I'll just tell you the overall message. And it's very much what Cassie said, because both of these cards are about work. And so it is a matter of just being busy now at this stage in their life. And they definitely, that's all it is. They're just busy. And like Cassie said, they'll definitely step up to the plate when needed. They'll be happy to. They'll want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that was good.
Very positive. Very positive.
Yeah, definitely. Very positive.
So, okay, Judy Ann Jamerson asked, are there any messages from my child? And I think I asked her first name, so let me look
First
down.
name, yeah.
I'm sure that she wrote in. Melanie.
Melanie? And Melanie?
Okay.
Do you want me to tune in to this?
You can. And then I want to tell you, actually, when I read this question, I've gotten this image before, and actually my other sister is sitting here, and I got it for her for a completely different reason. But I got, I don't want to cry. Okay, so I don't want to get emotional, but I saw there's a show, Little House on the Prairie, and there's like, there's a beginning sequence and an end sequence where children are running down a hill. And it's like a hillside with like flowers, and it's beautiful. But at the end, there's a little girl running with a dog, and so that's what I saw. Again, I saw it for a different reason for Pam, but that's what I saw. As soon as I read the question, to me that vision, it connotes freedom, joy, well-being. Being not, I want to say at peace, but it's more than, it's being just content, completely content. And there's just a childhood joy in it whenever I think of that scene. It also may be, and I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not a channel, but it also, a lot of children, no matter when they have passed, they'll show themselves at a certain age. And that age is about 10 or 11 years old. It doesn't mean they had to pass at that age. That's just the age they're wanting to show themselves as, because either that was a very carefree time, that was something happened during that time that they are grateful for or happy about. But anyway, that's what came to mind as soon as I read your question. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Do you want to go past it?
Why don't you go?
Okay. So I just pulled one card, and this is like, it's exactly what Kim said. This is the 10 of Cups, and you probably can't see it, but it's a picture. The cups are, as I said, emotion, love, and the 10 is the ultimate of that. And there's two little kids dancing on the card. I think the message is really clear, that the message is, don't worry, that everything's fine. In fact, she's so happy, so filled with love, with people who love her as well. And if your biggest thing is you worry, is she safe, is she happy, and that it's such a confirmation of both those things, that she is. And also I feel like she's just around you so much. So stop and feel that.
The only thing I feel is, well, one, I feel like she was a bit of a tomboy growing up, or you would describe her that way, because I keep getting that feeling. I don't know why. I also feel like she's around you a lot, like a lot. So like she's just constant, just surrounding you with love. Like sometimes you'll be upset, but then you'll get like these, like this, just whiff of just love, and that is from her. So if you have like those moments where you're like, oh, that's weird, like I don't know, I can't really describe it really, but she just has a really positive and powerful energy that can just, make everything feel okay.
And I think she'll send you messages if you'll be receptive to them, and or maybe already does. And I think there might be something around feathers. So, those kinds of things you can look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go here. Jackie Ward says, what can I look forward to for the future? That's very open-ended, Jackie. So, yeah, I think we'll do the cards for that one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I know. I'm not.
No, that's
I
fine.
need at least a
And
little bit of
what's the
specific.
name?
Jackie Ward.
Jackie
Ward.
Ward. W-A-R-D.
W-A-R-D.
Like Cleaver. Okay, so try and do this quickly. What's the future thing?
Glasses on. Okay.
I'm doing 3 cards, but I'll just do them real quickly. All right, so basically what you've got here is a 2 of Cups, a 4 of Pentacles, and a 2 of Swords. It feels like there's a romance or renewed romance for you coming up. Something that's very, I want to say, like there's been a lot of chaos, let's say that, for you romantically, whether it's a relationship you're in or wanting to be in one. This is very calm. This is a very happy, calm relationship. The other thing has to do with money. So the card that I've got talks about saving money. So I don't know if you're not saving money, you should be. And that's not for a bad thing. That's to allow you to have some choices. Because the last card you get is the 2 of Swords, which is a card about choices. And when you are prepared, you'll be better able to make choices. And I feel like this might be a career, or it could be like a career move, or it could be a literal move. So the future is very sort of exciting for you. But one of the things that you need to do is sort of prepare for it. Prepare for the eventuality that you want. prepare for a future that you want, and however that takes. It looks to me like, saving some money and those kinds of things, but you're definitely going to have some choices to make, but good choices, choices of sort of following your heart or remaining sort of in a kind of a rut. So it looks good.
All right. Okay, so I was kind of dwelling on the next question while Kristin was finishing answering the question. So the next one is Candy G, will life get a little easier for me? And what I saw is, I mean, I have to, a lot of my, like I said, are movie and television references. In the movie Forrest Gump, when he's running, he decides to just run, and he keeps running, and he runs and runs and runs for miles. That's the image I got. So something over a period of time has either physically or emotionally has been exhausting for you, and it feels like it's gone on for a while. I also saw the point where he stops and he's just like, I'm done. And I think that that's kind of where you're at right now. It's kind of like a little bit of a breaking point, but I also see that as a point of kind of a surrendering to kind of what's surrendering to a situation, and at that point it will start to get easier. So I'll let Chris go ahead with a couple of cards, but that's the first image that came to my head. So there is something that's been going on, but I think it's a new start. So
the card that you got is the Ace of Wands, and again, these are gift cards, and wands are all about new beginnings. They're all about creativity. They're all about opportunity, about things coming in, sort of swift changes. And a lot of and I feel like exactly what Kim said, like it's almost like a light bulb moment, like you turn on and they're just sort of like, I'm taking control. And that doesn't mean that things get better instantly, but so many things, it feels like you've had to surrender a lot of control, and it's time to sort of take that back and man, just grab everything that you can, because it's there for you. There's opportunities there for you so that your life can be so much better.
Okay. All right. So, Spiritual Growth asks, do you see a turnaround in my health for the better?
So I actually saw something with this particular question. I felt like it was kind of, I feel like it's a little bit of a serious, like, I want to say cancer, but I don't want to go. I don't know sometimes, but I feel something chronic, definitely. But I feel like it's kind of back and forth, like not seriously, but like there's stop and starts, but eventually you overcome the hurdles to get better, but that at the beginning it might be like, but eventually things will start getting a lot better. So that's just personally how I felt. What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And so would you read the question for me again?
It says, do you see a turnaround for my health for the better?
Okay.
From spiritual growth. A little bit, maybe Kristin can zero in on this a little bit, but I feel like there's something with either, okay, something about a diagnosis. Either something needs to be diagnosed, it was diagnosed wrong at first and then corrected, or there's something with diagnosis. Maybe Kristin can
there's something back and forth, right? There's something,
exactly. But I'm seeing like
there's
something with something, either the way it was diagnosed or that it needs to be revisited now, like it's changed. So I'm not sure, but that's kind of a feeling that I'm getting. So maybe we can,
So the card that I got was also a Wands card. Can relate to work a lot. But the idea is this feeling of just being exhausted, like you've been through it, and you've been through it with doctors. And I agree with Kim. There's if there are new doctors, if there are new places to go, but you know, a lot of this is, gosh, you just, if there's a way to just rest from everything, because it just feels like you're exhausted. But there are people that can help out there. There are definitely people.
So I was just going to say, but ask for help.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. I was just going to say
And
that.
and not just from like medical professionals, just like help, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really quickly, I just want to address this. So Judy Ann Jamerson, who we just did for about the child, so his name is Dylan or Dylan. So and she just asked if there is a message from him, and we kind of went into that, but or different.
No, that was a different one.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It is the same. Yeah, it's the same person. Maybe we can just get a message.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
So sorry, Judy.
So, Judy and Jamerson, are there messages from my child? His name is
Dylan. Okay. So that's why I was seeing the tomboy thing, because it was a boy, it wasn't a girl. So I was like, why am I seeing that? But yeah, okay. That makes sense.
All right.
Do you want to go ahead?
I think that we
sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, we did
I'm
this
sorry,
one.
I'm not hearing the question.
That was when I said that I saw the children running down the hill. You can look at that. Actually, you can see it on YouTube, and maybe if you watch it, there'll be something that strikes you. But like I said, to me, it's carefree, joy, easy, just feeling like contented.
I feel like he's also calling on you to be that way, to feel to that. I feel like he was kind of that way before he passed. So it's like keep feeling like carry on the torch in a way, to keep going, to keep that attitude alive, that this feeling of just of being carefree. That's
Okay. We had a couple of questions disappear, but let me see.
We're still new to this, so be patient with us.
Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Okay. Do you see? Okay. Does my Emily Feeble asked, does my mom have a message for me and my sister? And Cassie could probably do this one.
Okay. So I think you said her name. I think I looked into that and said it's Judy. Is it Judy? Okay.
I think that's right. I'm sorry, Cassie. Now I've asked for the names and I can't find the names. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I see her. The word that I keep feeling is jolly. Like she's a jolly person. Like she's just. I see her just like laughing and just having just this energy about her. There's like electricity. I feel like for the time that you knew her, or like the time before she passed away, she had like these smaller glasses that were kind of distinctive. Okay. So she's calling on you to find joy, to find happiness again, to find happiness again in the little things, and to find joy again. Okay, I don't know why I keep seeing this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm still new to this, but I keep seeing art for some reason. So I don't know if, because I feel like she's saying to get back into something you used to do that made you happy, that will kind of channel these feelings and that what will make you happy. Because she was a very happy woman. You know, she was a very, and she, even when she was sad, she would try to make other people happy. So again, it's kind of like the previous person where I feel like she's calling on you to do the same and to kind of carry the torch. To keep, that is the best way to keep her in your heart, is to, you know, live life the way she tried to do. You know, she tried to teach you, I guess.
Okay.
That's right.
No, that's good. No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's all live. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I'm delving into my intuition through many avenues, including tarot. Any advice?
Well, Kristin is in tarot, so she might have, and she's been to psychic fairs like locally. So
Yeah. So the thing about tarot is the thing about everything. It's a tool, and if it works for you, it's like for me, it's the best tool that I have. It helps me interpret really well. The more I do it, because I've been doing this for like a number of years, the more I do it, the more sort of other things happen. The more I get from one card or in a reading. So anything that you can use that feels good to you, all you have, the main thing is to be open, to trust yourself, to trust that there really are non-physical entities who are very happy to communicate with you, provide guidance for you or you to, you know, to others. And if you're open to that, and the other thing I would say that everybody always says is, you know, spend some time every day meditating, which is just quieting your mind, however that works for you. So,
Yeah.
You guys?
I think, yeah, I would say the same thing. The biggest thing for me is trusting what you see, you know, because sometimes it won't always fit or it won't make sense to you, but I'll just say it because it may mean something to you, or there may be an interpretation that comes later, or that I might think of while I'm talking. I'll say, oh, maybe it's this. So for me, I always feel like it's going to be in the interpretation, but I think that's one of the hardest things to learn, probably with tarot as well, is just to trust what you're getting.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
to trust it. Don't try to filter it. Just trust what you're getting.
And often during a reading, I'll lay down a bunch of cards and I'm like, oh, what does this mean? There's so many, I don't know what's going on. And I just start talking. And once I start talking, things start to come. And a lot of times I'll stop and say, oh, okay, you know, I get it now. Now I see where this is going. And so it is. It's just a matter of trusting yourself and going with what you get. You know, say it out. Even if you're reading for yourself, you might just try talking it out, saying it out loud. And I find it just, you know, it helps a lot, I think. So it's definitely possible for absolutely everybody to be doing it.
Okay, so this one is Mariana Nichols. Nicole asks, wondering if you can pick up any messages from my dad or relatives that have passed, and then I'm looking to change jobs or careers and possibly moving. So I wonder if it's a good time to do so.
Did you say Marianne?
Mm-hmm. Marianne Nicole.
So right away, I got this image of your dad. It was like kind of like your hero. Like I just keep hearing my hero, like my rock star. Like I see him like coming in on a horse and just like being like the light of your life, and you just thinking that he was your life basically, and he was your hero. You know, he was the one who, if you fell when you were a kid, you know, he would make everything better. Okay, so I feel like he is talking about a job that you're at, that you're currently unhappy with. I feel like he keeps saying to trust your heart. to trust your intuition, that you know that this job isn't good for you anymore, and that you need to trust your intuition about this, that you're right, and there's a little bit of fear, maybe having to do with money, but he's saying to basically trust, and that you'll get where you want to go, that you just kind of have to take the first step and trust in that. But I also feel like there's a grandmother coming in, a grandmother who I feel like you were also very close with, and that the dad and the grandmother were very close. So it must have been his mom. Sometimes I get sometimes I get the weirdest images. I keep seeing cookies for some reason. I don't know. I mean, kind of tell what you say.
Okay.
But I keep seeing cookies. I don't know if there's a personal significance with that. I don't know. I can't. Yeah. Okay.
Did you pull cards for this?
So I pulled cards for this, and I would sort of echo or expand on a little bit of what Cassie said, because I feel like with you, you have this group of people on the other side that are really trying to help you, because you are a little bit in turmoil, or you felt a little bit, but you're talking about a move and a career change, and it's like definitely not only coming, but it needs to come. But it is sort of a matter of you sort of burning down your world, because you need whatever's going on now. It's just so many things about it don't feel right to you and don't feel good to you. And that's why, you have this restlessness, or these, opportunities even for a job to move. And it does feel like they're coming. You definitely need to be honest with yourself about what you want out of job, out of move, out of life, out of relationships, everything. So really, spend some time thinking about that, and not being afraid to be who you are and what you are, and do what you want. And then sort of let that happen. Let your current, everything in your current life sort of crumble, and rebuild it up much more the way you want it. And what you need to know is you have got so much spiritual backing on this, that you'll be lifted up in ways that you need to be lifted up when you need that lifting, and you need to trust that.
So I would just like to say we skipped over somebody's question accidentally.
Oh, sorry.
So Sparky MDF, and again, if we skip over your questions, just let us know. We'll try to do as many as we can. We'll make sure we do get your question in. So Sparky MDF asks, will my ex-daughter-in-law let my granddaughter come spend a couple of days with me again soon? She stopped letting her last May, no reason.
And what's the name on that?
Let me see. Sparky MDF. Oh, so will Kelly let Skylar come spend a couple of days with me? Those are their names.
So for me, the image that came to my mind was a train on a track and going off the track. So I feel like either there's something with your daughter-in-law that feels like something's off right now. I don't know, something that is kind of that's made her life a little bit difficult or different. And so I feel like it will get back on track, but I feel like there's something right now that either maybe you already know, but it feels like there's something that is going on with the mom, with her, that is feels just like things are off. Things are not how they normally are. So Kristin pulled cards, all her did.
Exactly what I got in the cards. There's something that you don't know that is happening about her. Something that that she's not telling you, that she doesn't want you to know, that that it's her being deceiving you a little bit, but to me it almost feels like it's not so much like an awful thing. It's almost like she sort of looks up to you. Maybe she wouldn't say that to you, but you come across, because you get this High Priestess card, as this very matriarchal figure, and she may be a little bit in awe of you almost, and so she's sort of holding back because she sort of doesn't want you to. She feels sort of less than because of whatever the situation is. But I agree with Kim. It's something that will iron itself out. I feel like whatever the situation is or person is or whatever it is, it goes away. She sort of is able to make it go away, and then she'll be much more open to you. And I think that the only thing you have to do is be yourself, because you're very, like I said, you have this sort of, it's a commanding presence, but it's a very kind and loving presence. And so just keep doing that. And it's sort of, she comes back round to you. And I think, welcome her with open arms when she does. And obviously you welcome, the grandchild, but also her, because I think she could use that actually.
Okay. So next question. Okay. So Sandra R asks, I want to change careers from CSI to dog boarding. Will it be successful?
Okay. Well, what I saw was like a doggy head, like Lucy head, and a big heart behind it. And so it's obviously this is something that your first love, kind of something that you love, and it's something that is something that has almost a kind of a spiritual quality to it in a way. It's like animals kind of they fulfill you in a way that like a regular job couldn't or hasn't. But I feel like it's something that you'll put your whole heart into, and I think that it's also one of those things where it won't feel like work. It will just feel like something that you love to do. So, in that way, I think it will be successful. But Cassie.
So the one feeling that I felt was that this was something we've been thinking about for a long time. Like, this has been one of those things, and we often say, like, if something keeps coming back in your mind and it keeps repeating itself, like, oh, I should really do this, but then you kind of talk yourself out of it, and you're like, this. It's like you've been thinking about this for a while, and the reason why it keeps coming back into your mind is because it is meant to be. Like, it is what your path is and what you're meant to be going next. So listen to that intuition, and I feel like, it's going to keep coming back, even if you're a bit afraid about taking the step, that this is going to be an idea that keeps coming back to you. So.
And I just pulled a couple of cards, and the first card is the moon card, and this card happens to have 2 dogs on it. So it's very affirming, but I want to just sort of emphasize what Kim said, because this is, yes, I mean, by all means, definitely do it. Because it does speak to your heart, and what you need in a career is something that is life affirming. And pets are life affirming. Dogs are life affirming. They are, they are a metaphor for life, just the happiness and joy, the things we should be doing in life. The second card has to do with sort of illusion. So what I would say, like illusion with an I. So what I would say is just as you begin to do this, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. That whatever you decide to do it, the ways you decide to do it, is that it's well researched and stuff. But you're like that anyway. You would do that anyway. You're not going to jump into anything just willy-nilly. You're going to have your ducks in a row. So go ahead and do that, and do all the research that you need necessary. it's anything like this that's passionate and coming from your heart, it will be successful, especially to you in the ways that you define success, definitely.
Okay, and then Kathy Clement says, hello, I start a new job Monday. Will it be positive for me? I've been out of work for 2 years. Thank you so much.
So I got an image with this because I was thinking about it. So I saw like this dreary work office space, but then I saw a beach, and I kept thinking a holiday. And the thing that came to my mind is that this next job will be like a holiday compared to your last job. It is like night and day, completely different. Don't even worry about it. And it's like you kind of know it's different. Like when you met with like your future, keeps wanting to say manager or boss, but right, I keep wanting to say manager, but when you met with your manager, that you just had this good feeling, and that was just completely different from what you experienced in your previous job, to not worry about it at all. So yeah, so that's my feeling.
Okay, and then I had an image. I don't know what you look like, but I had an image of a person walking upstairs and just walking. I feel like at least the beginning, it will be a little bit of kind of an adjustment and it'll be kind of an adjustment. But the thing with going upstairs is that you'll feel the progress as you go. It will get easier as you go. And like Cassie said, it will be okay, but don't feel overwhelmed at first. Just keep taking that step by step, and it will be fine.
And the card I pulled was the Nine of Wands, and I would agree completely with that because it just is kind of an adjustment. However, I would also say that you have really been through the ringer these past couple of years, and this job is such an answer to a prayer. And I think you would have, even if it was the worst job in the world, and it's not, it's a great job, but you would feel so much like, I appreciate jobs so much now. I really just getting up and knowing that I have a place to go and work, it's such a thing. So this exhaustion that you've felt from like previous stuff and then the job search itself, it begins to dissipate the more you work, and it just becomes such a lovely routine, is what I would say. So yeah, very, very good. Congratulations.
Yeah. Okay. So Melanie Eaton asks, my 19-month-old grandson was murdered about 10 months ago. My question is, will his murderer be brought to justice? I'm so sorry about that, by the way. That's awful.
Yeah.
So when Cassie was saying that, and I know this isn't your question, but I just want to tell you what I saw because I think it will help you to know. I used to take Cassie a lot to the bookstore. There's a big children's section there, and it just filled with children's books, and it had all kind of like a big train set and all these different kind of child things that kids could play with themselves. And that's where I saw this little boy sitting on the floor with books in his lap, and an older woman, sitting with him. And it's funny because he seems like completely enthralled in what they're doing. He's just completely in a space of just contentment and doing his own thing. But I do want to say this woman is an older woman, and she's a little bit shorter, but she's sitting on the ground with him. She feels almost, and I'm not sure if this was her persona in life, but she feels almost angelic. Like it could be like an angelic figure, but it also could be a relative or someone that was like a saint when they were here, or they would be thought of as the person who was, the kindest person. But I see a figure like that with him, and they're just like sitting doing their own thing. Like he's just doing his own thing, and he's just being a little boy. So anyway, I'll let Kristin.
So I know you asked about the murderer coming to justice, and I was hoping for the justice card, just so you know, so it's very sure. But as it stands now, the thing I would say is that it's not certain. But I will tell you the cards that you did get, because I think they'll be helpful, and they actually mirror a little bit what Kim said. The first card is this Five of Cups, and it's the idea of this loss. I mean, this such a loss. I just, my heart goes out to you. I can't even imagine. But please remember the people that are still here, that love you and that you are able to love, and that love is important. I mean, it can buoy you up in this such a difficult time. I think you feel that already, but it's okay to turn to it. You're not turning away from the child when you turn to others' love. And then you get this 10 of Pentacles, and this is what Kim's talking about, because this card is all about family, it's about cooperation, it's about love, it's about so heaven can be a very sort of nebulous idea, and the Pentacles brings it to realism. So understand this is a real thing, that there is a real place. There is a place where people go when they pass over and pass on, and they just change, you know, their form basically. And there are people with the child who love him, who loved you, who you knew in life, who are now there with him. There are pets. There are such like a loving spirit and a happy spirit, and it continues. It continues that sort of love and happiness on the other side, which you will eventually be a part of as well. So that is a happiness that you can understand now, but also know that it waits for you as well. And then finally you get this Five of Swords, which is a card about deceit and lying. Man, my feeling, the first thing when I turned over this card, I don't know if there's the child's father or somebody connected to the child that you feel.
It's the father. Yeah, I got father too.
Been involved in this, and
I got something with father.
Yeah, so it's just this deceit. Whether it will ever come out, I don't. You know, in this realm, the cards don't show at this point. And that's the thing is, you know, there's so many things that can change. Everybody has free will. The future isn't set. So I'm not sure whether or not justice, as we call it, will be served. But do know that happiness and joy are the child's already and will continue to be. And you all who are here now, who are his family, will one day be a closer part of that joy, because you are still now, but you will be again with the child. So if that helps.
Another feeling that I feel like I had was that there's definitely something past life between you two, between you and your grandson. I feel like when he was born, you had a big, like an unusual connection with him. Like, I feel like you have other grandkids, and not that you don't have a connection to them, but there was just something different, like, about him. And the reason is because you guys had a past life together, and you guys both chose before you came to go through this, to get together and to learn from this. That this wasn't something that was a mistake in some way. That it was. It's helping both of you, and eventually, like what Sissy said, it will bring you guys together eventually and help you tremendously.
Because the people that are with him now, and you and some of the people that are here on Earth with you now, like Cassie was saying, you're part of like a soul group. It feels you're all very connected, and you've probably been through many past lives together, but it's this soul group. And so to have one of the soul group move on is especially tears at your heart, but you're still that soul group, and you're still, bound together and will eventually be together again.
Okay. Becky Gilbert asks, will my son ever get off drugs and find a steady job? Will he be dependent on me for the remainder of his or my life?
So
Becky Gilbert.
I got a feeling from that one. My mom and I watch a lot of Dr. Phil, and he has a lot of people like that, you know, their children are on drugs and the parents don't know what to do. So what I saw was that you need to get the tough love thing, the tough love treatment. I feel like, because I kept seeing a dog with a leash on, and I feel like that's how you feel right now. You feel a little bit restrained, and you feel like he's kind of got you on a leash right now, and he kind of knows which buttons to push on you to get kind of what he wants in a way. I don't think he's he's not a bad person at all. It is just the drugs, honestly. I don't feel like you even recognize him, you know, this person anymore. But it's saying you need to put your foot down, I feel like.
And along those lines, I was going to say, I saw, I hate when I have to say, if you've ever seen this movie, but you've seen the movie Singing in the Rain. In the movie, he does the song Singing in the Rain. You can look it up. It's a dance number that Gene Kelly does. And there's a point where he's walking along, or he's dancing along, and he's going up and down the curve like this. And he's just so carefree. And I feel like right now, you have the ability, because you're grown and you've been an adult for a long time, you have the ability to look forward and think, well, this can't go on for another 10 years or 15 years. He doesn't think that way right now. He's very much in this moment, and which a lot of people that have drug issues are, but he's also, because of that kind of whimsical thing that I'm seeing, it's almost like he doesn't really take it that seriously yet.
Yeah.
There'll be a point when he does, but I feel like it's kind of like it hasn't really hit him as a serious problem the way it has you. So I feel like there will be that point. And when there's that point, then you can jump in, like Cassie said, and do what you need to do to get him to where he needs to go. But, Chris, go ahead.
So, yeah, I would definitely agree with everything that you said. The thing about your son, kind of what Kim said, is he loves you so much. And it's when you don't feel that, it's the drugs talking. It's not him. And the drugs often talk in his personality to change it. And you miss the boy that he was, but he's still there. He's still there in there. And yes, I do agree. Cassie talked about tough love. Well, one of the things you got is the justice card. So I'm not sure what kind of drugs it is, but whatever the situation is, it may come down to law enforcement intervening, and that would be a point that is a wake-up call in many ways for him. Not just that it's, like Cassie said, it's suddenly, or Kim said, it's suddenly serious, but it's also, it gives some time. Sometimes when, you literally can't access drugs, and that may seem like a horrible thing, but it's also a huge tipping point, and it could be, a really good thing. But I think maybe the most important thing to know is the son that is still in there. Yeah, he's still in there.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Okay. So, Cece Lark asks, what awesome things will be happening in my life? Again, I'm not great with general like that, but Chris can do the cards for that.
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Cece Lark.
Lark?
Cece Lark.
Okay. Okay. Yay. Awesome things in your life. Oh, well, you do have an awesome future. The first thing you get is the Six of Cups. This is all about, okay, what I think this is about is some sort of vacation, but it's like going home. It's like returning home for maybe the holidays, but it's really good. It's just going to be such a happy time because you'll be in a good place. You know, it's like somebody else coming into it might not be like, oh, this is, you know, it's not the greatest thing ever, but for you, it's like great. So you do have that coming up, maybe some reunions with childhood friends during that time, or just family. So that looks really good. You've also got some money coming in. So the card you get is Queen of Pentacles. So this is like you, and Pentacles are money. So either it's more money coming in, or you handle money exceptionally well, being this real feeling of contentment, like, okay, I've got all my bases covered, you know. So it's a really really speaks well of you and the happiness that's there for you. The Ace of Swords comes in too. So this is about some new ideas or some things that you want to try, some new, it could be career stuff, but I feel like it's building on something that you're doing already, but that you try even harder. It feels like, okay, this feels to me like a creative project, like somebody writing a book or something. And it's the fulfillment of that. It's working harder, actually getting it done, whatever this project is, and then seeing people like it, you know, however it is, like it. So you do have these awesome things coming out, like a great holiday season. I would say good with money, but it feels like even like sort of more money, or somehow building your money, and that might have to do with this project that you're working on too. Some of this more creative endeavors in whatever form that takes for you. So just go for it.
So again, sorry if we do skip over questions, or you feel like we skip over questions. We're kind of taking a look at both the top and the bottom of the messages so that we can make sure we get everybody. So Linda Mack asks, my sister has passed. Amy, is she happy in the afterlife? I feel like, so right away I was thinking, and I don't know if this was, I feel like during her life she had a lot of issues with her weight, or issues with, or she thought she had issues with her weight, like bulimic or something like that. I don't know. I got that feeling, or if that was a big theme throughout her life. I don't know if that's what she passed away from, but I feel like that was a big theme throughout her life that was hard, you know, for her, that you had to witness a lot.
Yeah, insecurity.
Yeah, a lot of insecurity. Yeah.
And so I won't go into the episode because it's not really relevant. It's relevant to me, but it's not really relevant to you. There's a Brady Bunch episode where I know, so silly. But there's a Brady Bunch episode where one parent is worried about the other parent, and the other parent's worried about the other parent. And what's funny is I think that it's like, she's like, you're worried about me being happy, but I'm worried about you. So it's kind of like you're both worried about each other, which to me tells me the kind of relationship that you had. She is fine. And I also want to tell you that she has tried to let you know she's okay. Pay attention to your dreams, because I feel like either you have had a dream or you will have a dream. And let me, I don't get a lot of like psychic dreams, but I get a lot of visitation dreams. And I'll tell you that in a visitation dream, the way you can tell it's a visitation and not just a regular dream is that after a few days, a dream will kind of fade. You kind of don't, you know, it just fades and you kind of forget it. with a visitation dream, it becomes like a memory. It kind of embeds itself so that you could recall it like it was just like you just had it. So just pay attention to that, because I feel like, but that's the feeling, is like, well, you're worried about me, I'm worried about you. You know, she's fine, but it's almost like she's been trying to reach you, or she will reach out to you. Sometimes when we're grieving, it's hard to get past that. You need to kind of move past some of those grief tendencies. But that's why they'll choose to come into dreams, because your guard is down. You're not in that, there isn't that layer of sadness or grief, which is hard to penetrate. It's very low energy, or it's a low vibration. So in your dreams, it just is easier. So I'm just letting you know to watch for that, or write down your dreams when you wake up. Just start paying attention to that. So
yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So there's okay. So the next question is from Sherry. Hi everyone. I'd like to know what you see for my future. So Sherry.
We're so quiet, Sherry. It's not because you don't have a future. It's just that we're just being quiet. We're all thinking.
We're thinking what we're thinking.
The person's shuffling the cards, and again, I'm not as great. Sometimes something will come to mind.
Yeah.
Right away. If it's general like that, I usually do a little bit more specifics, but yeah. So I'll let Kristin do that.
So she's just asking about the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that comes in really strongly is travel, and not just going to the next state or something, but like overseas, like major travel. I feel like it's something that you love or have always wanted to do, and it's like so close, it's right on the horizon. The other thing that's coming to you is a chance to find new ways to sort of let your light shine. You have this you have this inner glow, and I'm not sure if this is work related or not, but it's an opportunity to share more with people, the like your inner self, your spirituality, your even just your life, your motto, like how you get through life. Like people more and more, or they probably do this now, but they sort of ask you what your secret is, or how you stay so positive and things like that. So there's that too, where you have, and you should do more of that. I should just say you should do more of that, and that may somehow be related to your travel. So that's all really good. The final positive thing is this Page of Pentacles that comes in, and I feel like, the page is generally a young man. The way I interpret cards and the way they usually come to me is these face cards are actual people. So I feel like there's a young person coming into your life. I don't know if there's a child. I have no idea how old you are, child, grandchild, but somehow this new entity, and if it's not like a child like that, it's like a very enthusiastic, childlike person who brings this new vitality and just brings out the best in you. So you have lots of great things happening.
Go ahead. I'll read it. Sorry.
So Truth Always Wins asks, I'm in the middle of binge watching Making a Murderer 2. Who killed Teresa Halbach? Halbach? Yeah. Seems like the wrong people are in prison.
Is it the first one or the second?
This is the second one she's saying.
It's this third. Oh, I need more second.
Okay, yeah.
But it's the same.
Okay, but Teresa, we'll just say Teresa.
Yeah.
So, do you want to try that?
I didn't quite hear what's
Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm in the middle of binge watching Making a Murderer 2. Who killed Teresa Halbach? Seems like the wrong people are in prison.
I've never seen the show. I feel like I'm so out of it. So I have no idea. So I don't know that I can get like a name or something, but I'll try and you guys can try and
You know what? Just to hear you, I feel like there's one person in prison for sure that should be there. There's another person I've never seen it. I'm not even familiar with the case, but it feels like there's one person who is wrapped up in it or something, but I don't know if I imagine it's a he, or I don't know if it's a he, should be there, but there is one person, since you have seen the show, I feel like there is one person that absolutely should be there. So don't worry. And can I just say something in general about anything like a violent death, a murder, things like that? When people pass away in that way, they care about what happens here because we're here. They have moved on. They're not sitting and waiting to find out if they're gonna, things are gonna be brought to justice. They want that because we want it. They're okay. They're fine. And they also have a very different view than we do. They're looking at things eternally, and we can only see this much. So they have a much broader view. They can see any karmic relationship we have, any past life. We have such a big, broad view. Think of like if you're sitting in an airplane and you have your tiny window that you're sitting by, that's what you can see. But they're at the cockpit. They can see everything. So I just want to say that in general, that when it's something like that, they have moved on. They're worried about you. And they want you to be happy. But as far as things like that, they're okay. They're okay. They know what happened, and they know that, it will all come out in the wash, whether it comes out in the afterlife or here. So they're okay. It's mainly us. We have the problem with, there has to be justice. We need to go to prison, and depending on your beliefs. But that's the main thing, is that they want us to be satisfied, happy, and okay. So that's the main thing. But there's one person that's definitely supposed to be there. So don't worry about that. But
and I do feel like, as to say from the cards I pulled, there's a Chariot card. So I do feel like there's movement in the case that has yet to happen. So you're right in the sense that there's more to learn about the whole situation, and probably, as you said, other people come to light who are somehow involved. And I don't know if this involved money in some way, but it feels very, something like that. So I need to watch it now.
You binge it.
I know. I need to binge it.
Okay, so Vicky asks, will there be an advancement in my job, and is there a message from my late husband? I see and feel him around a lot lately, and I'm trying to find out his message if there is one. So right away, I feel like these are connected. I feel like the job and your the message your husband is trying to give are connected. In the fact that I feel like you've been unhappy lately, and he knows that, and he's trying to push you towards making a decision of some kind. I'm not quite sure.
I think I know what. I was
Okay.
along the same lines. I was thinking it seems like there's a role. If he were here, there's a role he would have played at this time. So, for example, if you're worried about an advancement, you maybe have the tendency to worry, and he would have been the one to say, "Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." But it's almost like he's whatever the role he would have played at this time when you're worrying about the things you're worrying about in your life. That's the role he's trying to fulfill from where he is, letting you know he's there, and that's what he would be doing, and to remind you that he's there, and even imagine what he might have said, because I think you'll be surprised how well you pick up what he is saying, you know, psychically or intuitively, because I feel like you will pick it up. But it will feel like you're making things up, but just go with it. If you imagine if he was here, what would he say? And then just kind of let your mind do what it does, because I think that's the role he's trying to fulfill for you at this time. Chris, go ahead.
The only thing I would add to that, because I'm sure that Kim's right about that, but the one thing the cards say that is one thing that he would like you to know is that he understands the void that he's left, and he understands the heartbreak that you feel and how difficult it's been. And he's sorry for that, but the main thing is that he wants you to know that he's just around. I mean, that is the message of Mom in large part, is that he's still there. He's still with you. He still cares and loves you. And yeah, there's a big void in your heart, but he's trying very hard to fill it from where he is.
All right, so the next question is Debbie Nunn. Can you see what you feel regarding my son, Kenneth Casey? Will he return from deployment the same as when he left? He's in Iraq.
Did you hear it?
You didn't hear it?
I'm just really good one.
Just
I can't hear.
What do you feel regarding my son, Kenneth Casey? Will he return from deployment the same as when he left? He's in Iraq. I feel like that there's some tug and pull, that it kind of goes back and forth for you, that you're like, this doesn't look good, and then it's like, no, everything's fine. No, it doesn't look good. Like it keeps going back and forth, but I feel like he will. I personally feel like he will make it. Like that he'll be fine. It's just the stress in the meantime. For sure. Yeah.
And the only thing I'll add to that is that I feel like if there's anything that may need to be sorted out, and Kristin can speak, she had a son that was also deployed, and so but if there is anything that needs to be looked at, I think it's going to be kind of just more adjustment, mental, emotional, to make sure that that he taps into everything that's available to him. I feel like there might be some help needed afterwards, but that he may have to reach out and work to get it. So that's all I want to say on that.
Right, and I would say along those same lines is that it does feel like there might need to be some of that, not physical, but he may be in a mindset of, I don't need any help, and that may be where you come in, to be sort of like, it's it's no big deal. Tons of people seek help or whatever. It was, just speaking personally and not the cards, it was a real issue for my son after he was deployed, and it took a while. And it took a real wake-up call at one point for us to realize the point that his PTSD had taken hold of him. But there's tons of help out there, and as soon as it clicked that he realized how much help he needed, he like totally sought it out. And there's, despite what people say about the VA, there was a lot of help out there for him, and he's doing amazingly now. The other card that I got for him, though, and this is a fantastic card, is the World card. This is the card that's the completion of the tarot deck. So the thing about this deployment, even though there are some sort of consequences to it, is it opens the world to him. This will change everything about how he views the world, and will lead to some extremely positive things, a whole new direction for him in life. I mean, it comes across as the world, and I think that's because he views the world now as almost conquerable. Like he could go anywhere, he could do anything. He will have seen so much. I mean, by that I mean so many places and different kinds of people and things. It's just going to open the world for him in a way that you had hoped it would. Like if you could take away all the sort of negative things that come with deployment and the military in general, and just focus on the positive things, that is what you would hope, that this kind of thing will come out of it, and this understanding and knowledge and desire for more, more understanding, more education, more travel, more interaction with people, and that will come with time. I don't want to make it sound worse than it is, because it isn't. It's a matter of coming back, readjusting, fine-tuning the readjustment, and then going on to a whole new world. Yeah, so it's very good.
Thanks. Okay. So the next question, Deborah Briscoe, I think. How is my brother William doing? I feel like, so the feeling I got right away in his personality was that he was kind of a serious guy. A bit sarcastic, a bit serious, and didn't always show his love. It was one of those people like he knew he was your everything, and you were his everything, like vice versa, basically. That I get this overwhelming, like, he was like such a sweet guy, but there was something a bit more serious about him, so it didn't seem like he had this tender heart, but he did, and you could see that, and that was one of the things that was really endearing about him, I feel like, for not just you, but friends and family. And like a wife for some reason, I'm not, yeah.
Okay, and for me, it's weird when you read that, because it's hard for me too, because when I see people who have passed, they're usually just doing regular things. It's not like it seems like they're here, and that's the feeling, that it's almost like he's not gone. That's the way he looks at it. It's like I'm right here. I'm always, in a way, always with you. But when I picture him like Cassie, I feel like he's here. It's that's the only way I can explain it sometimes. And it's hard because, for example, earlier in the evening when I was talking about the little boy, he's just reading books. He's doing something that he would have done here. But I think that, it gives us comfort, because it lets us know that they are the way they were. They haven't changed. Our spirits are they're eternal. So that pocket of him that's still there. So it comes across like, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Yeah,
it's not. It isn't anything. For you, it's such an adjustment.
Yeah.
But when you say, is my brother William okay? It's almost like, for me, it's like he's still living. He's fine. He's doing okay. Yeah. So okay. But anyway, yeah, it's weird when you ask that way, because it just feels like, yeah, he's he's right there. So.
Okay, so the next question is from Linda. Do you think martial law is coming, or is it a conspiracy theory?
What is it? What?
A conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory, martial law.
Who is this martial law?
I better not. There'll be a revolution.
I'm going to stay out of the politics, because I don't know as much as these two about it.
Okay, so
all right, so Linda asks, do you think martial law is coming, or is it a conspiracy theory?
I don't think to me, it doesn't come across like martial law per se. It feels more like there's a feeling though of wanting to control. So I don't think it's that extreme, and it definitely won't be as obvious as that kind of thing, but it might be, stuff like not allowing certain protests to happen, or, things like that. It seems a little bit more under the radar. It's not going to be something big like that, I don't think, but we'll see what Sissy says. But it seems like it's kind of more like little things that, will be here and there that will make us feel more restricted, but it's not going to be like that.
And I would echo that, of course. The good news is that the first card I get is the Judgment card. So no matter what the short term is, Judgment is coming. It's definitely coming. And it's going to, a lot of the fears that we have right now are going to be dispelled just because of that change, this judgment, this the number of people that are caught up in being found out for their illegal activity. Okay, so that's coming, definitely. The other thing is that's going to help our country is some of the things that are happening in other countries, because it's actually more blatant in this sort of totalitarianism that's made a comeback. It's actually more blatant in some countries like Brazil right now. And just by seeing that, we're going to be able to avoid some big mistakes. So yeah, and actually I feel like because I've done some of these readings before, like a few months ago, and to me, everything feels a little bit lighter. Because the final card that we get is the Sun card, like the SUN card, which is this dawn of a new day card. So I think that we will, even though this process might be a little bit longer just to get out of some of the stuff that's been done in the past 2 years and that may still go on for another, many months. So take a while to undo that, but it's definitely coming. I feel like, their uppance will come. The comeuppance is happening. There's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a judgment day. And I think for a long time, a lot of us feared that there might not be a judgment day, but it feels like there is one coming, and that, the sun shines again, the new day dawns, and we will have learned a lot from this little, foray into sort of this odd rule and everything. But we are learning. Just, we talked earlier about what happened in Saudi Arabia with the journalist. Those are the kinds of things that we're learning from and saying, not here, and I think, and there's other countries where other things are happening. Certain people are being elected and so forth, and we're like, not here.
And I do think November is going to be weird. I'm just putting that out there. I do think November is going to be a really weird month. So just so you know, but that's good.
Okay, so Margie Moore asks, does Seth have a message for Athena? So right away, I feel like this is one of the reasons why you're asking the question, that I feel like she's kind of in a depression right now, Athena. I feel like that he's saying that she might need medication like antidepressants, that she needs to see a counselor, like get professional help, because I feel like she's really struggling, and like a feeling of like PTSD almost, like from the event. Maybe it was like a trauma in some way, and that that it's really hard to get past, and that she may need some professional help to just push her in the right direction to get her to move forward. Okay. Do you have something to add on to that?
No, I think that's.
You think that's right? Okay. Okay. So Jennifer Richter is there a message from my husband? Hello from Australia. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So yeah, is there a message from my husband? Okay. Her name is Jennifer.
What was the name? Jennifer?
Her name is Jennifer, and a message from her husband.
Jennifer Richards.
Richard? Yes.
Well, I mean, the one thing that comes, it's the main thing actually for me. I don't know about Cassie, but it's just like a real very proud of you. Either it's something that you're doing, or just the fact that you're keeping moving and keeping going. But it's like a sense of that he's proud of you. And I'm not sure, maybe Kristin can shed more light on that, but that's the first thing that came into my head, that I'm just so proud of you, that kind of thing. So go ahead.
Well, what I would say is that you had such a special bond. The cards that I get are the Queen and King of Cups. So this is just such a loving bond. And so the message is that bond goes on forever, because in the middle is the Magician, which is this very sort of spiritual card. But I also want to say that if you are wondering about sort of like where he is, and if you are wondering, is he in heaven kind of thing, it's that feeling of him wanting you to know that yes, and that he is with God is what I would say. He would want you to know that he is with God. And that this love, that this bond that you had here that was so special, and so other people saw it so much, it goes on. It goes on forever. But you have this bond that has seen you through many lifetimes, and that's why it was so apparent here, and so apparent to others, and so apparent so quickly. So, but he wants you to know that he's with God and you.
Okay. So the next question is from Divine Karma 625. Today is my grandmother's birthday. Any messages for me from Virginia McDaniel? So I felt like right away, I kept getting the feeling of the jitterbug for some reason, and that she says to keep on dancing. Like, you're doing just fine, girl. Like, keep on going. Keep on dancing. Like, you're doing just fine. You know, I'm watching you every step of the way. Oh, okay. I just, like, heard, I'm watching you take every dance step you take through life. I'm watching you.
And along those lines, along those lines, the impression that I got was it's a birthday, but that every day is a birthday. Every day is a new day. That she must have been a very positive person, because she's just like, every day is a birthday. Celebrate every single day. That's kind of the feeling and the personality that she exudes. It's just kind of a person who just enjoyed herself, and telling you just enjoy every day, just celebrate every day.
And that's when I got a celebration card.
Okay,
so
here we go.
It's amazing. And I think the message too is that she's with you in those celebrations, and that she is where she is now. She's better able to celebrate. So I don't know what what the story was with her passing, how she was then, but that she is better able to celebrate now.
Or maybe that's why she's already dancing.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
And with you during your celebrations. And she loves that. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Linda. I'd like to know about if I have a career change, as well as is anyone coming into my love life. I definitely feel a man. I definitely I feel a lot. I feel like he. I actually feel like he's foreign. Oh, I don't know why. I feel like he's foreign and he has very dark hair and has a lot of hair. I don't know, but he at first I thought he was from Mexico, but I feel like India. Oh, for some reason. I don't know why maybe he's lived in multiple places or something, and maybe that's why it keeps going back and forth. But I definitely feel like, he's very well traveled, I don't know. That's what I feel. I feel like he travels a lot and very kind man.
So I would just agree with that from the cards I got, because you get the sun card. So this is this new beginning, new day kind of thing, which is awesome. The sun card is such a great card. So it's this light in your life. And then you get the 8 of Wands, and the Wands are, again, about things changing, new beginnings, action. So I do feel like there's all these changes coming. And the thing about Wands is they come quickly. So if you're talking about job, it's like, man, I saw this job, I applied for it, bam, 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 they called me, I had the interview, I got the job, that kind of thing. Or thinking about making this change, and then there's an opportunity to make this change. And then, so it's all, really good and really fast, but you know what you want, you kind of know that. So that makes it easier for you to see that change to effect. And then finally you get the Chariot card, which is this guy coming in, and it does feel like, it comes across as the Chariot because he is dynamic in a soft-spoken way, rather spiritual in a way. Very, very well balanced. But I think it comes in as a Chariot too, to maybe back up validate what Cassie's saying about possibly being a foreigner. Because a Chariot is this idea of travel. So that's awesome. So all those things.
So Anna asks, will my business succeed? Okay. The first thing I heard was that this is like your passion. Whatever this business is, it's your passion. It's been for a while, and usually when that's the case, when you're following your heart, there might be some stumbling blocks, but you will succeed in the long run. That is the feeling I get.
I was just going to say, there's going to be some ups and downs, and the main thing is to trust your instincts and to don't get stuck on one thing. Just keep on moving, keep on going, because it does have this feeling of ups and downs, but it does feel like it will succeed, but there needs to be follow through. That's what I want to say. There needs to be follow through. So just keep moving forward and keep trusting your instincts. You have a really good instinct, so trust that. And I agree with Cassie. It's something you obviously love to do. So,
and I would agree with that too. I think from the cards that you get, I would say that what's happening is that the form, it might morph a little bit. The business might, like you may be focusing in one area and it sort of morphs to another. So there may be some change, but yes, your instincts are very good. You're very good at concept becoming reality. And so don't be afraid to make those changes or, make those adjustments and stuff, because you're one step ahead of the game. So, realize that and then go ahead and implement things that are going to help you and help your business evolve.
Okay, and then the next one is...
the next one is from Petra. Are those Guatemala immigrants orchestrated by someone to go to the U.S.?
To do what?
I think she means, is there someone paying them to come to the U.S.?
Oh, are the immigrants being paid to come to
Like
the U.S.?
orchestrated
Oh,
by
Are they
someone?
being
Or is it-
orchestrated by someone?
Okay.
I don't know a lot about this, but what I saw was a bus, for me it was like a school bus covered in dirt, and then it kind of as the bus is going, the dirt is coming off. I feel like these people have been through hell. Basically, these people have been through a really difficult, awful time, and they see the United States as their it's like a cleansing for them. It's like the place once they get, they're just trying to get there. And once they get there, it's going to be okay. But it feels like they have been through hell, really, just an awful, awful experience.
So I've got 3 different cards here. There's the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. So what I would say is what these cards represent is what these people are looking for. Are they being paid? No. They're being driven by, it's heartbreaking because they're geez, I get emotional. Their expectations are so high about what they're going to find here. They think they're going to find opportunity, the opportunity that they don't have in Guatemala. They think they're going to find this sort of swift justice that they've been lacking. They see this. I mean, in my mind, just talking about it, I just keep hearing like Trail of Tears, and that's what it is. This difficult journey, but they think that they're coming here and things are going to get so much better because there's so much opportunity here. And then finally, the Nine of Cups is the love that the love they have for their families and each other. That's why they're making the journey, and also they're expecting to find that here. They're expecting what the bottom of the Statue of Liberty says. Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, breathe free. That's what they think they're going to find. And I guess I'm emotional because, obviously it might not be the truth at all, but that's their motivation and that's their hope and it's their belief. That's what they think they're going to find. So
I think these stories about the immigrants, there have been so many recently. I feel like this whole period with Trump and all of this stuff happening, we are deciding who we are as a country. We're going to have to face this over and over and over again until we decide who we are. Are we people that stay true to the Statue of Liberty, or are we going to, should we take it down because that's not who we are anymore? But I really do think, I don't know if it's still on Kristin's YouTube, but she did a reading about kind of what this is all about, the kind of spiritual reason for all of this. And I think the reason we hear these immigrant stories over and over again, the horrible things happening with the children, the immigrant children, and it's like we're constantly having to choose who we are. And we have to make this decision in the end. Who are we as a country? Are we a country that lets Saudi Arabia murder journalists that live here? Are we a country that holds people accountable and cares about human rights? Who are we? Trump is, I don't want to say what he is, but one thing he's doing though is putting this in our face, saying, he's showing us, he's forcing us to decide who we are. Are we with him, or are we what we've always said we were?
And I would add to that too from the reading that I did, and just from what we're getting here and everything, we keep saying who we are as a country, but we each have to make these decisions personally, because our personal decisions affect the country. I mean, personally, what would I literally do? What would I do if, somebody came to my door and was hungry and, tired and yearning to breathe free, I mean, what will we do? What does humanity mean to us? How does our humanity actually extend out from us? And we're being, like Kim said, we're being taught that lesson over and over again. We're being given the opportunity to think about that lesson and make those choices over and over and over again. And that is probably the upside of sort of a lot of the chaos that's going on, is we are making these decisions, and not everybody's making the same decision. But there are, there are people, groups of people they're sort of in the same camp. But that doesn't mean you can't change. We can all change, and we can all better honor our humanity with a little more love and a little less fear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question,
like I was gonna say, it's almost 8:00, so maybe we'll do a few more questions, and then if we didn't get to yours, send it again on just a comment on our next video, and we'll just kind of try to go through them and answer them. And
we'll do like a whole video on answering the rest of your questions from this live stream, because I mean, we're kind of overwhelmed.
We'll hand some over to Kristin too, so she can answer some, and get a hold of Kristin, Beacon Tarot, and
at gmail.com.
Yes, and ask her for reading. So and so we'll go for a few more minutes, and then just do that, because we wanted to try to get everybody in. We're so glad everybody showed up. It's so nice to see where people are from.
It's amazing. It is.
And let us know if we got things okay, or if maybe it wasn't exactly what you wanted to hear, or it was odd or something. We can clarify, but it's new for us to do it this way. And
definitely.
We do this a lot, which is with my other sisters over here, but we kind of do this. We call it the Coven.
And
sometimes we can call the Coven together for having a problem or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're glad you could join us. It was really an interesting experience for us, and I think it's a lot of fun. So.
Okay, so Scully392Z asks, whatever happened to flight MH370?
Oh.
So right when I heard
what is that one?
The Malaysian jet that went down, and we never found any trace.
When I saw that question, I kept seeing it land on land. Basically, I kept seeing it like that, like land, like that, and that. I feel like it's somewhere. I feel like it's on this island somewhere, and very small island. I feel like it landed. I don't feel like it's in the water or something. I feel like it was on land. At least maybe part of it. Maybe depending on how it went down. I think it definitely feels on land, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, along with, maybe this is what Cassie was also saying, but I, as soon as they said that, I didn't know what it was, but when she said the actual number, I just saw pieces. So I think it maybe did hit land, but to me it's in pieces. But I agree with Cassie. I actually don't think it's in the ocean. I think maybe part of it's in the ocean, but I feel like it hit land somehow and broke into pieces.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it's
weird, but anyway,
as for what actually happened to it, like why did it go down? Because everybody was lost and it was a terrible thing. I feel like it was pilot error, something with the actual pilot. I can't even remember what the story was. There may have been like speculation about that at the time, but I feel like that is what it was. It's related to the pilot, and yeah.
And I almost get the feeling, and again, I'm not sure either, but it's almost like there was some kind of covering up it's like they covered up a small thing, but it made it look like it was a big thing, kind of thing. Like it was this, they covered up something small, but it made it seem like it was something much bigger. But yeah, that's all I'm getting about that. But,
So Tuna Pruitt asks, my daughter was kidnapped and presumably murdered. A man is serving life. Will I ever find out the truth behind what really happened? Sorry about that. My daughter was kidnapped and presumably murdered. A man is serving life. Will I ever find out the truth behind what really happened? I feel a little bit, I don't know, emotional about this one. I feel a little bit like it was, yeah. I'm feeling like you will, but that it will come from a source maybe you don't expect. That's a bit unexpected. I don't know. I get a lot with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel a lot. Yeah, I just feel a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. It's like I said, I think that there is something that it may come from a third party, that it may not come from. But I feel like that it will. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it will, but I just feel like it's gonna be. It's not from where you think, or it's not an obvious. It's not from an obvious place you'll get the information. I think is what I want to say. But.
Yeah, going along the same lines, I would say it's not from somebody close by you. Like it's, I get the Two of Wands, and it's again this travel card, this faraway card. So, this somebody who knows something, maybe, or has seen something, somebody who saw something, or somehow is not in a place where you are now. So it may come about in. It's a while, right? It's a while.
I feel like some of these ones too, that it would be great to do a private reading only because there can be a back and forth. It's hard when there's not any feedback at all, because
we can't.
Yeah, no, it's hard to do, but I agree with Chris. It's like it's not. I think it's going to come from. I want to say someone else, somewhere else. It is like it's a third party or somebody. It's strange, but in this case, I wish we knew more about the case or what was happening, because I think it would shed some light on what we're all feeling. But
I will say too that this has been a very difficult, obviously, of course, a horrible and difficult journey for you. But this rather like bitter journey as far as what you're feeling, and so just knowing. I mean, we all understand the desire to know and stuff like that, but there's a way to navigate life without knowing that. So know that it may, and like we're all agreeing, could come to you, but there's a way to navigate life happily without having all that information, and that's something that your daughter really wishes for you, I would say.
So, Sai Me asks, how's my health? Reoccurring health issues that doctors can, and the doctors can't find a cause. Okay. Yeah. So, Sai Me asks, how's my health? Reoccurring health issues doctors can't find a cause. I feel like yes. I feel like, yeah, they will eventually.
feeling like it's not like life-threatening, but it might be something that's kind of chronic that just needs to be like you'll need to monitor it. But I feel the same thing that Cassie. I feel like that things will come together, and you actually, I feel like you need to find the right. I don't think you've found the right doctor yet. I'm not sure what the healthcare situation is where you are, or, what that is, but I feel like you haven't it's like there's a certain doctor or somebody that's supposed to help you with this, and I also feel like you worrying about it, stressing about it is making it worse. I think once you find out what it is, you'll be like, okay, I know what it is. Now I just need to do this. It will be like a relief, but I do think you kind of need to find the right person that kind of has a good bedside manner that can kind of pull things out of you that maybe a doctor that's kind of like, oh, it's probably this, and we'll send you home with something. I feel like you need a very compassionate doctor.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Well, exactly the same thing, because the card I get is the Nine of Swords. It's this card literally about things keeping you up at night. So this constant worry, and this worry that it's so much bigger than you think it is. It's this life-threatening kind of thing, and it's just literally keeping you up at night. And you need to move away from that. And the way that you do, you have really strong intuition, and you know yourself better than anybody else. So just listen to your body, I think, and as you go to doctors, I think you'll be better able, if you take away some of the stress and knowing, hopefully, maybe this will help, that it is, like Kim said, something more just chronic and not life-threatening, so that you can let go of some of that stress and sort of listen a little bit better to your body's rhythm, and that will help you express it to a physician. And it's sort of like you take the stress away and you take some of that worry away, and you're better able to see what's really happening. Because some of what's happening, as Kim said, some of what's happening is just stress related. So worry related. So you take that away, move away from that, try and spend some time meditating or hiking out in nature, whatever it does, it sort of calms you down, and you'll be better able to figure out what it is that's happening and then express that to a doctor who will be able to help you.
Okay, so Marcia Fletcher asks, when will I find the one? Okay, so I do feel somebody, he's a bit on the tough side. Like, he's a tough nut to crack. But inside he's a big softie, and I feel like you're kind of like that too. So you kind of understand that, you have empathy for that. So you kind of can see who he really is, that maybe to other people it's like, oh, that guy seems like a jerk, but he's not at all. And you can feel that connection towards him right away. I feel like it's just like instant connection. And I feel like it's soon. I don't feel like it's that far away.
Yeah, I also, with Cassie, I feel like I also feel like it's one of those things that as soon as you as soon as you stop looking, it's almost like you kind of let your guard down, and then these things, it happens. And it also could be somebody who, maybe even like work related or somehow connected to work in some way, or a new job or something work related. I'm not sure. Maybe Kristin can zero in more. But
it's so
I don't know.
funny when you're talking and you say stuff that I was going to say, because I think it's a guy at work, somehow work related. What I would say is, you feel like there has been just this long dearth of not having this romantic relationship, and what I would say and what Kim would say is, you need to let your guard down. There's something, for whatever reason, that you've sort of been holding this back. I mean, I don't want to say like, you know, you're the reason there's no romance or something. It's not quite that. It's this protection that you've sort of put up,
It's
and
an
so
energy. It's actually it's like an energy field.
it is
It's like you're putting out a certain
So you just kind of need to let that, just even say it out loud. You know, I'm open to a relationship, and say it every day, and it becomes more and more true, and the universe hears you, and maybe this guy at work will you say it. No, but it does feel like there is somebody already that's already around you. That is waiting for you.
And I feel like the same thing, that you have like a guard that you put up, and I feel like he's the same way. I feel like that's kind of how you guys recognize each other, that you both have this guard that you hold up, this tough exterior, but on the inside, once you get to that core, you're very lovable people, you know, and you have a lot of love to give. So guys, I think this is going to be our last question. Thank you so much. I've been looking through all your messages, and we've all been looking through your messages. I see people who are on here from Hawaii, the UK, Colorado. We had one from Australia, and it's just all over the place, and from Brooklyn, New York. So thank you guys. Wow. Again, like, we'll do a whole video answering the rest of your questions. Thank you to everybody.
We'll do it in November too, because it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be kind of a weird November, and probably after the midterms and all that stuff, we'll meet up again.
And again, Kristin's channel, thekintero@gmail.com. We'll even put it up maybe on the next few videos.
I do Skype, and I do Skype and email readings, and in person if you're around here.
Yeah.
If you're in Northern California.
Northern California. But so it's been great. You guys have been awesome, and if we haven't gotten to your questions, don't worry. We eventually will. So don't worry.
And I hope we helped. I mean, I hope that's the whole reason for this channel, is to kind of know we're all in this together. We're all on this journey.
We're the Coven, you guys.
We're all in this together.
It's not just the three of us. It's all of you.
That's why anybody does any of this kind of work. I think they really just want to help, and not like force their ideas on you, but just give you a little guidance or something that might help you in a certain situation.
Okay, so I think this is a good question to end on, because I think it's one that everybody is asking right now. So Miriam asks, will Trump be impeached? We're all wondering.
We've been waiting for your question.
Yep. Okay.
I have gone back and forth with this, because, like we were saying earlier, we have free will, and so do our elected officials. They also have free will. I mean, a lot of the Republicans right now, they're doing things they know they shouldn't be doing, right? So they're exercising their free will, but they're doing stuff that they know they shouldn't be doing, and acting in ways they shouldn't be acting. But I feel like I almost feel like the law is going to get to him before the government reacts to him. That's kind of how I feel. And impeachment may come with that, but I do feel like the law is coming for him first. But that's feeling I get.
Yeah, I feel that same way. I don't really think there's an impeachment coming, but I will say that the sword of justice is coming swift, and it feels, I get the Page of Swords. I feel like it's going to come. I mean, my first thought is Jared Kushner. There's somebody close that knows so much that either doesn't know enough to cover it up or actually turns on him.
He's going to be arrested in an airport.
But this all revolves around money. This is the stuff. I mean, and that's why impeachment might not come into play, because this revolves around money, and there's so much dishonesty, man. And so then You guys, I get the Three of Cups. This is a card that you mentioned. And, you know, I'm like, well, Three of Cups with these three women on the card and the cups. I really feel like this is the three branches of government, of liberty, coming back together. And there'll finally come a time when they back each other up and are like, you know, he's out because he is, because he's a crook, you know. I mean, we talk about that with Richard Nixon, but in this case, we're talking about it where it really does involve money and sort of thuggery, you know. But the good news is that we come back together into this greater sense of political and national self, and that'll be good for everybody and everything.
And I keep feeling like, I do keep feeling like jail. I feel like there's something with jail. I feel like he's going to go to jail.
Impeachment, no. Justice, yes.
Right. Yeah. Could I actually see that card? Because I got an image with this specific card when looking at it. The Three of Cups, as you can see, they're holding the cups here. And it's women. I feel like part of this represents like the Me Too movement, that some of this
just the women, Me Too and
the
women in general.
But I also got the image, like right when I saw this, I got the image of the woman who's holding both, like in like that you see in court, that's holding like
scales of justice.
Yeah, scales of justice. I got the image of these women, and that's kind of what this represents. So I feel like justice will come. It will come. Yeah, justice will prevail. I was just thinking, justice will prevail. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes.
Absolutely.
So thanks for spending Saturday night with us. I hope that we helped and we got to, you know, most of the questions will, like I said, send them to me on my comments. You can send them to Chris, and if you want, even if you want to get an entire reading from Chris, she's great. I mean, her readings are so thorough, and you know, they have so much information packed in them. So it's really good. And then Cassie and I will be doing our thing. So
yeah, well, and then that's the thing too. You know, if you have a quest for, I mean, you know, we can always go back and forth with different kinds of questions. If you ask for like a channeling question, or you ask for more personal questions, you know, we can bring Kristin back. I can always do channeling and get in touch with different people. I know a lot of people asked about Kennedy, who we just talked about with who's Bobby Kennedy. So I'll do a video on that, since that is my thing, is channeling. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and
it was so fun.
Just put end stream.
Just put end stream. So thank you guys.
Okay,
bye. Bye. Thank you so much.
I feel so tired.
I'm exhausted.